Television is brought to you by JD Factors, charting a path to growth. Day and Ross, owner-operator driven. Diesel Spec, engine tuning experts. Welcome to Trucker Television, the best of the trucking world. This week on Trucker Television, going the distance with Challenger Motor Freight. We're hauling dry freight with SPADY Transport. Rig of the Week, a 2013 Peterbilt from Outer Limits.
Today, my life begins again. I feel I've never been so clean aside.
I'm originally from Saskatchewan. I'm a transplant, I guess, out in BC. When I first started driving on the Canadian side, there were no logbooks. There wasn't any power steering on trucks either. Automatic transmissions were something that you would see in some science fiction movie. Air conditioning, air seats, air suspension. Trucks now are probably nicer than some or most cars. You know, some of the new ones. Along with that, I mean, there's compliance things that the regulations have changed, weights have changed, speeds, the power, you know, that trucks have now compared to 220 Cummins. There's been a huge change. The first truck I ever drove was old when I started. I was 18 years old. It was a 1960 G model Mack, an old cab over, 2 sticks, the whole thing. The first truck I owned, oh wow, it was a 1972 cab over Freightliner with a 335. I was farming and got out of farming and I was looking for something that I could do and make a living at. I wanted to have my own company for a lot of years before that. I, bounced it off Margaret and I said, this is what I want to do. So I was on the road. I said, if you can get the operating authority and everything, and she did. And when it comes to the business aspect of things, she's phenomenal.
We started the company 15 years ago. Actually, it's our 15th anniversary this month. I started the business and my husband was the first owner-operator, and we built the business from there. So it was just one truck, one trailer. My husband was running wherever I could possibly get a load, and then I was pretty well doing everything else.
We started out the worst time of year, and it was in January. We had a few things in line that kind of fell through when the rubber hit the road type of thing. Everything came together, brick by brick, we kind of built it. It's been a really good experience. And it's we've had some lean years and then we've had some good years, just like anybody else.
The recession, I think, hits everybody very, very hard, especially with the cross-border, because when there were issues in the US, there was a lack of freight, some businesses closed up, so there was huge impact. The things that we're dealing with constantly are the fuel rates, because there's fuel surcharge involved, and also the exchange rate. So on a daily basis, we've got to be aware of all of these changes and be constantly adapting our business so that we can maintain the viability. There are lots of businesses that tend to come and go, so we want to work smarter rather than just harder. Now, 15 years later, we're at about 32 trucks and about 50 trailers. We've come a long way.
95% of our miles are US miles. We do run into Toronto quite often, but then the truck will we'll have loads that go from Toronto down into the States and then back to Vancouver or Alberta. We have customers today that we had 14, 15 years ago. And we need to look after the people that we're working with or working for. A lot of times it's the little things that make the difference, along with some of the big things. Be honest with people. If you can't take the load, don't say, okay, I'll just load it and stage it in the back and we'll try to get some power underneath it as soon as we can. If we can't do it, say so. Honesty is huge. It's massive. You can't run a business without being honest.
After the break, going the distance with Challenger Motor Freight.
Laidlaw Carriers, Van LP.
They pay me well, they have a good fuel surcharge calculation program, and they have the type of loads I like to haul in a dry van.
Now hiring company drivers and owner-operators.
Diesel Spec. Tuning for performance and fuel economy.
It's a big difference for the transport with the price of the fuel. They do a great job. I was doing about 5.7 miles per gallon. Now I average between 7.5 and 8 miles per gallon.
Is fuel economy important to you? How can you not call Diesel Spec?
Now hiring company drivers, women and men. Late model, all Peterbilt fleet. Dependable runs, great pay and benefits. Locomotive Systems, transportation specialists.
Ontario Truck Driving School. Training for your future. Your path to success. Thousands of jobs.
Laidlaw Carriers Tank Sudbury office is now hiring quality owner-operators. Company drivers also wanted. 4 days on, 4 days off option. Our people and our equipment set us apart.
New Line Spray Suppression. Email us a picture of your truck and you can win a set of New Line fenders and be on national TV. New Line at truckertelevision.com. New Line Spray Suppression.
Challenger Motor Freight. We understand the movement of goods from anywhere to anywhere in the world. We connect the dots and add clarity to life. And that's what supply chain does. Challenger Motor Freight. Join our team and go the distance.
SPADY Transport. Now hiring owner-operators. Join today and work for the very best. Now hiring owner-operators. SPADY Transport. Rockin' Wheel 9. A weekend of great music featuring Sam Roberts and Chad Brownlee. Join Biker TV Saturday for a charity poker run. Rockin' Wheel 9.
Closed captioning by Bryson Insurance. Your partner in success for family and business.
We've just left Challenger Yard in Cambridge and we've picked up an empty reefer. At this present moment we're just coming into the Mississauga outskirts near Toronto Airport on the 401 headed east, and we're going to take the 427 south into Etobicoke to pick up Purelator, which is heading towards Kamloops. We've just arrived at Purelator in Etobicoke. We've been told by security to drop our empty trailer to the left, and then we drive around the yard to find our loaded trailer, which is 600498, and then we'll start heading towards Kamloops in BC. There's another Purelator yard up in Rexdale. That's even bigger. Yeah, Purelator is the sister to the Canadian Canada Post. Purelator mainly deals with parcels, packages. Pretty tight, pretty tight. Heading north, up towards Sudbury. Looking at the Qualcomm, we're on the 69 Trans-Canadian Highway in this wonderful part of mid-Ontario. I've been with Challenger since December 2003, so come December, it'll be 10 years with Challenger. I'm based in Dorval, Quebec. I enjoy driving. I've got a lot of driving experience for driving back in Europe. I've been very, very fortunate to drive to Moscow, St. Petersburg in Russia, Kazakhstan, 200 miles from the Chinese border. I've driven on most continents, Australia, Malaysia, Japan, Brazil, like I said, Russia. I've had a very interesting life. I am married, I have two very, very young children, and I enjoy being with Challenger. They've been very, very, very good with me. Well, the load feels heavy, but Volvos are good. It's pulling the load up, and we're averaging about 8.7 miles per gallon, so that's pretty good. Try and keep it down to about 90 kilometers an hour. Use progressive shifting, cut down on the idling. That's the way we can save fuel for the company. That's what the company would like us to do. We're going to fill up both tanks. So we'll do the satellite, the other side first.
After the break, Western Canada's SPADY Transport.
Diesel spec. Tuning for performance and fuel economy.
It's a big difference for the transport with the price of the fuel. They do a great job. I was doing about 5.7 miles per gallon. Now I average between 7.5 and 8 miles per gallon.
Is fuel economy important to you? How can you not call Diesel Spec?
A leading authority in dry van transportation. The only call you need to make for all your shipping requirements. SPADY Transport. carrying your business load.
Laidlaw Carriers, Van LP.
They pay me well, they have a good fuel surcharge calculation program, and they have the type of loads I like to haul in a drive.
Now hiring company drivers, women and men. Late model, all Peterbilt fleet. Dependable runs, great pay and benefits. Locomotive Systems, transportation specialists.
Ontario Truck Driving School. Training for your future. Your path to success. Thousands of jobs.
Laidlaw Carriers Tank Sudbury office is now hiring quality owner-operators. Company drivers also wanted. 4 days on, 4 days off option. Our people and our equipment set us apart.
New Line Spray Suppression. Email us a picture of your truck and you can win a set of New Line fenders and be on national TV. New Line at truckertelevision.com. New Line Spray Suppression.
Challenger Motor Freight. Once you get into trucking, it gets in your blood. There's something about it, you're connected to it. It's that movement of freight, that interaction of man and machine. Join our team and go the distance.
Rockin' Wheel 9, a weekend of great music featuring Sam Roberts and Chad Brownlee. Join Biker TV Saturday for a charity poker run. Rockin' Wheel 9.
Hey, come alive. Don't pass on this feeling. It's the price.
The last winter was pretty bad. In our run, in our schedule, we had at least 5-6 times that we had to chain up over the Siskiyou and Shasta mountain, and for one day the freeway was totally shut down. And same this winter, December, I think it was early December, they had one big snowfall and the highway was shut down for one day. And then when they reopened, there was a couple of chain up requirements, but since that, it's been nice and clear, just a foggy and rainy day, and sometimes the temperature drops below freezing, but other than that, it's nice and clear sailing. It's been good for us. A lot better than the guys from East Coast and the prairies.
We have some Canada Post runs that we run on a regular basis. So we've got 7 or 8 teams that are totally dedicated to that run into California and back. I believe we've got around three loads a day that are running down there. So the teams are all switching on and off that. Now, Greg runs as a team with his co-driver, Coco, and that has been going exceptionally well for them. So one guy's sleeping and one's driving. So that's pretty well how it works. And we do our absolute utmost to be on time for these customers and make sure there's absolutely no issues.
Greg's been with us for a few years, the guy's sterling. He's a really good owner-operator. Coco's been with us for a while. She's a really good driver for us. Greg's bought a new truck and kind of spec'd it for that mail run. He bought himself a Volvo, and it's got super singles on it, disc brakes, automatic transmission. It's just a perfect truck for a run like that. I think he said he was getting something like, well, I'd have to pull up the numbers, but he's getting over 9 miles to a gallon or something, which is phenomenal.
This is a 214. We bought it in July last year. We already have 215,000 Ks on it. It's a Volvo D13 engine, rated at 450 horses. Just spec it that way, especially for this run, because the loads are relatively light, and we're running on the I-5, so corridor, so it's not many hills to climb, so we could build the truck, use the engine and the driveline and the transmission for the best fuel economy that we could get off that run. So we are going to Richmond. We're gonna pick up the load at Canada Post. We are pulling on the average about 18 to 24,000 pounds. So they are relatively light. We are running a little bit into the traffic now. And as you can see, the weather changed totally from a border. It was pretty foggy last night too. Richmond is not that bad, either coming in or out. It's not that bad. It's only sometimes if the accident happened or some debris on the road or some other stuff. But generally, Seattle and Portland, because we are crossing through in the early afternoon rush hour from around 2 o'clock afternoon until 6:30ish, and then that's what is holding us back and delaying our schedule most of the time. Hook up the trailer, get the paperwork done, fax the documentations for a crossing border. For that e-manifesting, we have to inform the U.S. Customs about load coming through the border and get clearance, and then we can proceed through the border.
After the break, Rig of the Week, a 2013 Peterbilt from Outer Limits. Long haul with Challenger Motor Freight.
Challenger Motor Freight. We understand the movement of goods from anywhere to anywhere in the world. We connect the dots and add clarity to life. That's what supply chain does. Challenger Motor Freight. Join our team and go the distance.
Diesel spec. Tuning for performance and fuel economy.
It's a big difference for the transport with the price of the fuel. They do a great job. I was doing about 5.7 miles per gallon. Now I average between 7.5 and 8 miles per gallon.
Is fuel economy important to you? How can you not call Diesel spec?
SPADY Transport, now hiring owner-operators. Join today and work for the very best. Now hiring owner-operators. SPADY Transport.
Looking for a new opportunity? Fleetway Transport is now hiring company drivers and owner-operators for flatbed and heavy haul. Join the Fleetway family. Apply today at fleetwaytransport.com.
New Line Spray Suppression. Email us a picture of your truck and you can win a set of New Line fenders and be on national TV. New Line at truckertelevision.com. New Line Spray Suppression.
Laidlaw Carriers, Van LP.
They pay me well, they have a good fuel surcharge calculation program, and they have the type of loads I like to haul in a dry van.
Now hiring company drivers and owner-operators.
Trucker Television, by truckers for truckers. Celebrating life on the road. Trucker Television advertising. Speaking to truckers like no other. Oh yeah, always remember, watch for the brake checks.
Laidlaw Carriers Tank is seeking liquid tank owner-operators. Competitive fuel surcharge program. Base plates, border crossings, and tolls paid. Our people and equipment set us apart.
Now hiring company drivers, women and men. Late model, all Peterbilt fleet. Dependable runs, great pay and benefits. Locomotive Systems, transportation specialists.
Laidlaw Carriers Tank Sudbury office is now hiring quality owner-operators. Company drivers also wanted. 4 days on, 4 days off option. Our people and our equipment set us apart.
I'm Nick Schott. This is my truck. It's a 2013 389 Peterbilt, 500 Cummins, 97,000 K. And I've chromed it all out. It looks pretty good. We got all the gauges and everything you could possibly chrome out pretty much done in there. Everything but the hardwood floor. Well, I've added all my little touches here. It's my home.
I know I'll save her for
The company is actually my dad's company. Then we got vans, double jobs, step decks, flatbeds, roll tights. Basically anything you want done, we can do it.
I worked 15 years at the same job. When I woke up in the
We're going to head up towards Dryden. We're about 400 kilometres. We're going to stay there overnight. I spoke to another Challenger driver not long ago, and he was saying that there's snow up there, about 1.5 inches, and some black ice. I want to get up there before it gets too dark. And then tomorrow we'll leave there, cross into Manitoba, and then get into Saskatchewan, and then park up in Regina. That'll give us another 1,000 kilometres. And then on Tuesday we'll leave Regina and head into Alberta, and then into BC, and then probably park up in Golden. And then on Tuesday we'll leave, have a leisurely drive down to Kamloops. The ice on the road. Okay, Highway 17 west of Dryden is shut down for at least 2 more hours. Okay. Just let everybody know what's going on, okay?
Okay, I think we should have called it a day in Dryden.
We're on the Highway 17. We're just west of Dryden, and a truck jackknifed this morning, and it seems like a lot of trucks are bunching up, and they're finding it very hard to get up the little hills, and they're backing back down to get a speed up. And what we've done is we're a good length and a truck and a half length away from the truck in front of us. So if anything does happen in front of us, at least we got that gap to pick up some speed.
Hey, you guys heard about that 14 truck pileup in Kenora?
Really?
This happened on the 7th, early morning.
There's only a few trucks coming this way, and then there's nothing, and then we're moving. So it could be that the road could be blocked one lane. The reason I've come up closer to the truck in front of me is because we're on a hill, and I don't want to be down the hill. There was a heavy storm heading from Calgary going east, and we hit it last night. This morning when we woke up, it was about 1 foot and a bit of snow, and the temperatures dropped down to about -8. So, but it's getting warmer. But we're still sitting waiting to head towards Winnipeg.
Send us a picture of your truck and you could win a set of New Line fenders. Working trucks, show trucks, new trucks, old trucks. Send us a picture of your truck. You will be entered into the 2nd annual Trucker Television New Line Fender Contest. Next week on Trucker Television, hauling with steel specialists, Locomote Systems. Rig of the Week, a 1987 Freightliner from Outer Limits. Western Canada's SPADY transport. We chain up to cross the Rockies with Challenger Motor Freight. Trucker Television is brought to you by Trucker Television Advertising, the voice of Canadian trucking. Wasp Cam, the sports action camera Trucker Television uses. Be on Trucker Television at Truck and Roll Encore.